to give us what we need. Hey!
I listen to KBLA and I love the commercials. I know what the commercials mean. I also, if I'm looking and trying to figure something out, I need something to talk to me that might hit me. And it happens on TV because, you know, every time they show a sporting event, they got the pharmaceutical companies back to back to back telling people how to fix the sickness on the same stuff that they sell them. So we get it.
Yep, we get it too, Chuck D. And that's why at KBLA Talk 1580, we don't black down.
Drop it! Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power! Fight the power! Fight the power! Fight the power! My lady there.
Said fuck the Drake and bout the G-Lock. He run up Betty, get pop, yeah, I rap, but fuck this hip-hop. I'm active, boy, don't get dropped. Niggas know they walk with flip-flops. Hey, rats with cheese, they get chopped. From the slum straight to the tip top. It's on me, bitch, don't get popped. Feel like 50, all in one swap. Ran off the plug, got too hot. We had hoes and bows in two spots. Put off Corvette, the roof shot. Diamond shining, smoking moon rock. Thug life, I feel like Tupac in LA. We ride with two glow. Start rapping, face got too hot.
Beep, 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 making it rich, rich, rich. I like to poop deep dish and when it goes squish, squish, squish. Call the 666, demon time, tick, tick, tick. Barrel to your temple like a pimple, then it goes zit, 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 pro medicine. I don't smoke gasoline, fuck you know Vaseline. I like my whole tangerine, it's so dope I have fiends. I got that cool, no caffeine. I empty the whole magazine. Everybody woke, I say I dream. Got it out the mud, it came clean. I can't trust the love, I ain't green. I just cut them all.
Welcome in. It is the weekend. Get your snacks, your libations, a beverage, whatever it is, to relax you and get you in the mood to hit these trending topics and headlines with me, Jill Munroe, on KBLA Talk 1580. First up, it's a lot of music dropping this week. So shout out to Lil Wayne with, what is this, the Carter 6? The Carter 6. 6 of them things. Can I just go on record and say, like, putting Big X the Plug on anything, did I say his name right?
You sure did.
Okay, I just want to make sure because, you know. His voice is just, it makes you feel major expansion. You know, everything's bigger in Texas. Now, I really like his flow. And when I hear him on the track, I get a little excited.
You know, it's funny that you mentioned that because that was my first time ever hearing of this guy.
You don't know the song? Safe to say I'm the biggest, the largest. It's in the commercial with Jalen Green, the Wings
sense.
Commercial. Yeah.
Okay, it makes sense. You're right about that. I've heard that.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know who the artist was.
Okay.
I like that song. And I like him on this record. I liked how him and Lil Wayne, they rapped the chorus together. But just the contrast of his deep, rich voice and Lil Wayne's little squeaky voice, I thought was pretty cool. But yeah, this is one of the standout records that I liked from the album. So interesting that you're familiar with Big X Plug because I didn't know anything about him. But I did
am
like him on that
shocked. Let me tell you who taught me about Big X the Plug.
Speak on it.
TikTok taught me.
I'm sure.
Come on now, because I was like, what is this song? This is fire. I want to step out and put a little reel or a TikTok to that.
See, now I got to tap in and listen to his stuff.
So, I mean, let me not act like I know a bunch of different songs. I've heard a few in bits and pieces. The biggest, I believe that's what the one that's called is in the commercial.
Yeah.
That one I know. I put on a playlist. But yeah, I've heard some other stuff out there. So shout out to them. Shout out to Wayne. Big ups to that. Since we're talking hip hop, right? Well, first, let me give you guys a quick rundown of what we're getting into tonight. When Samuel L. Jackson says he didn't know what he signed up for, I tend to lean in a little bit. We're going to get into his comments about Kendrick and the Super Bowl performance on a podcast. Also, you know, we talked a little bit about all the drama that's been jumping off this season on Real Housewives of Atlanta, the skipped and disinviting of those to the reunion. Well, Brit Eady has dropped a $20 million lawsuit against Bravo. So we're going to get into the details of that. We also have Queen Mother Lynn Whitfield dropping some wisdom for women, especially women of a certain age. We appreciate that. We're going to get into a little DDG and Halle Bailey. But first, like I said, since we were talking hip hop, I got to talk about your guy 50 Cent and his post and delete. Okay. So I believe it was earlier today, or was it late last night? I'm unclear, right? But 50 posted a 3-photograph carousel on Instagram. So that means there were 3 different photos. You know, you swipe, whatever, to see each one. The first photo was the sketch from Diddy's trial of Jane Doe. The second photo was the mother of his youngest son, Sire, Daphne Joy. The last slide was Diddy in court. 50 said in the caption, once again, this is now deleted, but check any of your local blogs. I'm sure that they have it there. He said, you know, I'm wondering who Jane Doe is as well. So, get into that tea. Recall what I told you about Jane Doe's answers on the stand, and you do the math, your own conclusions. That's what 50 has said, but he did go back and delete it because, you know, that might be a federal crime, revealing a witness. I don't know, but probably not a good idea. But 50 doesn't care. He's going to troll until the troll. Listen, when we come forward, we're going to get into Samuel L. Jackson and his surprise at Kendrick's Super Bowl performance. Oh, and I forgot to mention, coming up at the bottom of the hour, we have interviews with the cast of BMF. Vinchi, Myles Truitt, you know, that's Southwest T and B. Mickey, as well as Russell Hornsby and Michole Brianna White, who play the parents, Charles and Lucille Flannery. So make sure you're tapped in for that. But we got more trending topics and headlines for you on the other side. Thanks for listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I've been drinking so much champagne, sipping, swerving in a rave. She act like I'm a chauffeur. She wanna stand in ovation. Not tryna be part of that way. Converse if we conversate. Tryna throw it in my face. Tryna get me out my game. I say post and delete. Yeah. Post and delete. Post and delete. Post and delete. Post and delete.
Are you ready for the hottest entertainment scoop in Los Angeles? She's bringing you exclusive interviews with today's biggest stars, behind-the-scenes Hollywood insights, and all the entertainment news you need to know. She's breaking down what's trending, what's ending, and what's just beginning in the world of entertainment. You're riding with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. You ready?
Somebody make some noise in this joint.
KBLA Talk 1580 celebrates its 4th anniversary this year on Juneteenth.
Here we go again.
Hard to believe 4 years has gone by so fast.
Oh my God.
But here we are, still standing, still loving and serving our people as best we can.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
To celebrate our 4th anniversary, we have 4 big events, and you're invited to all of them.
She got a lot to say.
Let's do this.
Let's get it on.
On Wednesday, June 18th, we go live on C-SPAN for the 2nd consecutive year with our Climate Justice plus Black Health Symposium. Tavis Smiley will moderate an all-star panel of thinkers and influencers as we continue our vitally important climate justice work.
Hey, Tavis Smiley, call the bomb.
On Thursday, June 19th, you're invited to join us as we celebrate Juneteenth and our 4th anniversary. There'll be plenty of food, fun, great music, good vibes, and all of your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts will be there.
Yeah, man.
Flip the beat. On Saturday, June 21st, there are 2 big events you're invited to attend.
I can't wait to hear it.
This year, KBLA Talk 1580 continues its annual partnership with the Empowerment Congress for a community celebration and dialogue to educate, engage, and empower. This year's theme is Resilience in the Face of Chaos.
Can't wait to see what's up next.
Y'all ain't ready for this.
And new this year is our State of Black Women in Los Angeles Symposium, moderated by Dominique DePrima, with a luncheon to follow. Dominique will be leading a dialogue with some of the most impactful Black women leaders in Los Angeles, and you're invited to join.
This is it.
All of these events are free, but seating is limited, so you must register in advance at our KBLA1580.com website, where you can find all the details you need about each event.
Check it out.
It's our 4th anniversary, and we would love to celebrate it with you.
I love you guys so much. There's nothing you can do about it.
We're KBLA Talk 1580.
The only black talk radio station west of the Mississippi.
Thank you for having our black.
Happy anniversary, KBLA.
We love you. Love you. Time is up. The IRS is in full collection mode for 2025, issuing liens, levies, and garnishments to anyone who has a past tax debt or unfiled tax returns. Don't wait till it's too late. Your paycheck and bank accounts are at risk of being seized. Call now and stop the collection process today. If you're living check to check, no matter how much you're making, you still may qualify for the Fresh Start programs offered by the IRS to reduce or even eliminate your tax debt. It's just a 5-minute call to get your options, and it's free. If you owe back taxes, have years of unfiled tax returns, under audit, have a wage or bank levy, or finally just want to sleep better, business or personal, call the experts at Republic Tax Relief while there's still time. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and tough. This veteran-owned company has the fight you need to take on the IRS. Don't go at it alone. The call is free. Call their hotline number now, 800-259-4546. That's 800-259-4546. Find out if you qualify today. Call 800-259-4546 or go to republictaxrelief.com.
Now back to more entertainment news with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. Of course, you know how this goes down. 800-920-1580 if you want to join in on the conversation. Hit us up on social media, KBLA 1580. I'm at Stiletto Jill. Holla at your girls. Say hello. Join the YouTube chat. They're always up on everything. Shout out to them. We appreciate them. It's bustling. It's bubbling over there. And a quick reminder, you know, it's our 4th anniversary. The events are fast approaching. If you have not RSVP'd for one of the events, what are you doing? Head over to KBLA1580.com and get to it so that you are not left out. Space is limited. It is free, but limited. So you got to be on the list to get in. And if you're planning on coming to the Juneteenth barbecue celebration, because, you know, we love food, make sure that you bring a food gift card of any amount, or, you know, a gift card for a grocery store chain or a restaurant, because we have not forgotten about the survivors of the Altadena fires, and they are still in transition and needing our help, okay? So, again, head over to KBLA 1580 and register for the events, and we'll see you there. Appreciate you. All right. Now, let's get into Samuel L. Jackson. So, Sam said that initially, when he was asked to perform with Kendrick for the Super Bowl halftime show, he didn't really get the whole thing. He wasn't aware of the full meaning behind the performance, right? This was on the Mad Sad Bad podcast. He said that it wasn't until the dress rehearsals that he fully understood what was happening and the messaging. Let's take a listen.
What did that feel like, though, feeling like you contributed to positive change?
I don't know that, you know, I don't know that I did. I know that I did what I thought was right, and I took part in it, and that I used my voice and I used myself in a way, you know.
You're still doing that, though, right? Because you did the thing with Kendrick.
Oh, well, see, I didn't know that's what they were doing.
Didn't you?
Well, it was kind of...
And another thing.
It was kind of trippy because when we were rehearsing, you know, we just had our clothes on. Yeah. You know, and I was looking at the dancers, and they were doing that dance, doing the things and doing the stuff. And it wasn't until dress rehearsal that when I looked up on that stage, and I go, oh, that's a flag. Yeah. And he was doing this. Oh,
I'm in the civil rights movement again.
We're being revolutionary. You know, it's like, because I wasn't listening or paying attention. You know, yeah, you picked the right person, but the wrong time. And all that's like, yeah, the revolution. I was like, oh, okay, here I am again. But, you know.
But it was a great thing.
Something about me or my persona has put me in the right place at the right time in change of the zeitgeist. Yeah. In a way. in a lot of different moments in my life. And I have to accept that that's what I'm meant to be sometimes, an agent of change, whether I know it or not.
It's so powerful.
And to be proud of it and to know that, God has placed me in a place that I can be influential in a real and positive and kind of awesome, thing for the masses, because people need things.
When you speak, people listen as well.
Yeah, but I always want to be on the right side of history, in terms of what's going on. And sometimes it's not my choice. The powers that be have decided, okay, this is who you are. Because, me standing there going, hey, salutations. It's me, your uncle, Sam. It's like, I was just, this is cute. I wanted, Kendrick and them hired me to do this, and my name is Sam. So I said, yeah, I'm Uncle Sam. But then I realized
layers.
You're being put in this place for a reason, and you're dressed this way for a reason. And you are part of change. This is an awesome moment of change for people sitting there watching a game, or people who don't turn on until halftime because all they want to see is halftime. They go,
yeah,
wow, boom, and it was like,
it was so important.
I know, it was so important and so short. But
it's amazing how much influence you can have in such a short space of time if the platform's there.
Yeah.
So, for the people who said, you just don't know what it was, you just didn't understand. Sam didn't even understand initially. Just kidding. But I think it's interesting that they didn't talk over the concept with him. They were just like, hey, show up, here's your script, and we know you're going to give us what we need. So that was pretty interesting to me. Kendrick seems to stay 2 steps ahead. I think that is evidenced by what we have, if you haven't attended his show, heard about the show and how it's put together and the elements to it. So, shout out to Sam.
Do you think that if they let Samuel Jackson in on, the meaning behind the performance, that
he would get skittish?
Maybe.
I mean, it's like someone mentioned in the chat too about Sam being militant early in his life. We know what happened, but as you become older, you become more refined. Sometimes maybe you're not as inclined to go out on these type of missions. We don't know. Or, you might have just been like, oh, not saying that he would have. He might have been absolutely down in the same way. But I do think it was a consideration. And perhaps that's why they didn't give him the full scope when he was brought in. So, interesting. All right, let's get into this other story because, my goodness, it certainly is juicy. So, Brit Eady, she was a newcomer holding a peach this season in Atlanta, caused a lot of controversy with Kenya Moore, caused her to get kicked off the show. I mentioned yesterday how Brit came out on her social media Instagram story and revealed that she had recently discovered that the photo wasn't even of her and that she never looked at it and just assumed based off of what she was told by someone else. Mind you, this is season 16 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. So Brit is suing Bravo, NBC, and the producers for the show. There's a production company that handles, the actual day-to-day filming, execution of all that, for $20 million based off of the scandal that aired, I believe, in April of 2025. It was episode 4. And the scene was during Kenya's hair spa event. Moore presented a poster labeled, "Who is this? Oh, this 304." And it displayed explicit images allegedly of Eady. The images were blurred, right? And a title card later confirmed Bravo ceased filming with Moore for the remainder of the season. Now, Kenya Moore was disinvited to the reunion. Brit didn't show up. Now we know why. And Kenya said that she understands that, she was taking the weight of her actions and that she'll see Bravo again soon. right? But it just begs the question about what was happening and what was going on. You know, the lawsuit accuses producers and Bravo of defamation, intentional emotional distress, and a hostile work environment. And here's a key claim in it. Eady claims that she repeatedly requested to see the photos before the airing and that producers refused. So she is kind of alleging that perhaps she could have verified that the photo wasn't of her and she wouldn't have suffered the professional harm she did, in addition to the embarrassment, et cetera, et cetera. Moore and Bravo's legal team haven't responded as of yet, but Andy Cohen seemed to put out a little tweet that, you know, was kind of interesting. $20 million on the line. It'll be interesting to see what Bravo does if they settle. Some of the fans are saying she wasn't going to get invited back anyway, so she decided to jump off the cliff. I don't know. We will have to see what develops from that because, listen, it's so much drama. I don't know, though, if at my personal event for the launching of my spa, and I understand it's for reality TV, so you do a lot of theatrics to keep the viewers engaged and tapped in, and heroes and villains and moments that will play out across social media. But would you really take a moment that is supposed to be about you and your business to throw shade at Chick 2B, who's a newbie? Like, come on, you're twirl, Kenya Moore. Like, I believe that she knows that she probably went a little too far with that. But I do think it is worth noting that after 16 seasons, even with cast changeouts, the formula is a little stale, right? And it gets more and more expensive the longer these shows go on because cast members want to be paid. You as an audience want to see the extravagance, right? If they show up in a house that looks like they could be your neighbor, are you as excited about it? I don't know. People look to these things and expect a certain amount of glamour and coinage to be attached. So at this point, is the franchise savable, right? Is it, Andy's like, I don't know, it's not my thing. I mean, I just wonder if at a certain point, I know the Kardashians are still going, and obviously it's a different version of the show now on Hulu, but in theory, they're probably on season 997. So, you know, with all of the spinoffs, but that also was very much a different time, right? They launched in 2007, 2008. So they've been on reality TV for almost 20 years. And we've seen a great deal of reality TV at this point, from the Real Housewives to Basketball Wives to WAGs to Growing Up Hip Hop to, you know, all of the other ones. Is it just, it's at that point where it's not fresh, and it probably won't be fresh unless it is an authentic friend group where people have personalities that can keep the excitement going. I don't know, but I do think that we are going to see a shift as far as reality TV goes because some of this stuff is getting a little dry. All right, Lynn Whitfield, you know her. She was Brandy in Thin Line Between Love and Hate. She's been in so many classic movies. She's Mother. She's, of course, is currently on The Chi, which I believe got picked up for an 8th season on Showtime, so shout out to them. She recently appeared on the Healed Girl Era podcast, and she was asked what she'd tell women who feel stuck. And Lynn said, "What do you care about? What is something new you can be interested in? See something new. Do something new. Don't just give in. Find more joy and move forward." Lynn Whitfield is 71. Andy, do we have time to play her clip? All right, we're going to check out what Lynn had to say, especially for ladies that are entering in the golden era of life. She wants you to understand some things.
If you could talk directly to the camera, talk to the women who may feel like they've given up on life, how they can get to thrive again, and why they should never give up.
Here's the thing. The world is designed to separate you from yourself, to separate you from your beauty. And as we get older, we are almost neutered in, like, there's no passion, there's no sensuality. Oh, you're a certain age, girl, I'm retiring. Retiring to do what? What is going to make you passionate? What do you care about? What is a new thing that you can be interested in? See something new, do something new, and don't ever let anybody tell you that because you're a certain age, this is age. No, I'm here to tell you it's never just age. I beat back age like a brush fire in a Western. I'm not playing with these people.
No, that's right.
No, but seriously though, you don't give in to something. Find joy in moving forward, so that 17-year-old that you were, there's a part of you that's never going away. That can still be there at 60. It can still be there in your 50s. It can still be there in your 70s. I'm never going away. I want to know new things. So, just come on, get on with it, and don't get into that old cushy place. It's boring. I'm sorry. Don't hate me. No,
So shout out to Lynn Whitfield. I think that's a beautiful message for us to ride into the weekend with, right? That no matter your age, you can always discover something fresh, something new. Don't lose passion and sensuality, all of those things. So kudos to her for, making sure to spread the love and to spread that message, because who says you're out of your prime? You can be in your prime whenever you choose to be. When we come forward, we got more trending topics and more headlines. Plus, coming up, those BMF interviews. All of that and more. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
She gon' ride it like a 18-wheeler, nigga. She vanilla, nigga. On tequila, she Brazilian, nigga. I ain't never scared. Keep a chopper on me like a helipad. These niggas teddy grams, nigga, teddy bears. Keep them with my bare hands like Freddie, man. Tell him, man.
Shit, fuck the Drake and bout the G-Lock. He run up Betty, hip hop, yeah, I rap, but fuck this hip hop. I'm active, boy, don't get...
You're in the know with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. The Trump administration is pulling back $500 million in public safety grants. Congresswoman Latifah Simon, a black lawmaker from California, says cutting these funds, especially as summer begins, could undo progress in reducing violent crime.
Community organizations spend every day, hour after hour, working on the ground in our communities to stop gun violence.
A class action lawsuit has been filed to get the funding restored. Antoine Massey, one of the 10 black inmates who escaped from a New Orleans jail, is claiming innocence on Instagram with a caption, quote, "I'm innocent," end quote. He and Derek Groves remain on the run after escaping May 16th. And during the Country Music Association Fest, the National Museum of African American Music is spotlighting black contributions to country music. The Bend Country event in Nashville, Tennessee runs tomorrow from 2 to 7 p.m. with free discussions and new exhibits. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
The drive heading to LAX is a slow one, not helping matters. West 105 at Wilmington Avenue, a 3-vehicle collision is clearing from lanes. We understand up to 3 lanes are blocked here. They have a backup to Paramount Boulevard. On to Mid-City, 10 eastbound before Alameda. A pickup truck quit running, and you'll find that truck taking up the slow lane. East 10 slow going from Pico Boulevard to the East LA interchange. Also slow on the 110 northbound from El Segundo Boulevard to the 5.
Compassion sponsorship means food, health care, education, and more for a child in poverty. And there are thousands of kids who've been waiting over a year and their wait. Sponsor a child with compassion today. Text the word radio to 83393.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
There is NIL money in women's college softball. Texas Tech pitcher Najari Kennedy was the first softball player to sign $1 million NIL deal 2 years ago when she was at Stanford. Friday morning, the African-American star from Topeka, Kansas, signed another $1 million NIL deal, confirming her intentions to stay at Texas Tech for her senior season next year. Kennedy has become the face of women's college softball. She's a two-time NCAA Player of the Year and a three-time first-team All-American. Kennedy will be pitching tonight for Texas Tech against Texas in the championship game in Oklahoma City. Tomorrow night at 7 here on KBLA. Join me and my co-host Neil Scarborough for Out of Bounds. 60 minutes of sports chatter with some flavor. We'll preview Game 2 of the NBA Finals and recap Coco Gauff's performance Saturday morning in the French Open Tennis Championship. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yeah, yo, come on. Pick up the drums.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we fight the power every day.
Yeah, gotta give us what we want. Gotta give us what we need. Hey.
I listen to KBLA and I love the commercials. I know what the commercials mean. I also, if I'm looking and trying to figure something out, I need something to talk to me that might hit me. And it happens on TV because, every time they show a sporting event, they got the pharmaceutical companies back to back telling people how to fix the sickness on the same stuff that they sell them. So we get it.
Yep, we get it too, Chuck D. And that's why at KBLA Talk 1580, we don't black down.
Drop it! Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power! Fight the power!
The State of the People Power Tour is not a moment, it's a movement. 11 cities, one mission. To organize with care, build with strategy, and remind ourselves that we have never needed saving. This Friday and Saturday, the State of the People Power Tour arrives in LA for its final stop. The State of the People Power Tour is not just a series of stops. It's a signal, a shift, a belief that power lies in the hands of everyday people. A belief that if we show up for each other, our communities will be stronger. Join us this Friday, June 6th in Los Angeles at the Seed School and on Saturday, June 7th at Pasadena City College. We need you in the room to link arms with neighbors and leaders from across the country to build something that will last, because we believe if we move together, we will rise together. For more information and to register, go to stateoftheppl.com and join us as we build a new nation where every voice matters. Catch Prep is now enrolling for summer credit recovery in fall 2025. As South Los Angeles' top-performing high school in English, math, and college access, Catch Prep is welcoming all 9th through 12th graders to enroll now. Catch Prep offers a small, supportive, and safe learning environment to help all students succeed, so that all students feel valued, respected, and motivated to reach their full potential. For the past 20 years, Catch Prep has helped more students of color gain admission to top-tier universities, with our graduating seniors earning a total of $3 million in scholarships, more than any other school in Los Angeles. We are dedicated to helping all students turn your college dreams into reality. Catch Prep is now enrolling. Visit us online at catchhighschool.com or call 323-293-3917. Spaces limited. Please enroll now for summer credit recovery and fall 2025. Call 323-293-3917 or enroll today at catchhighschool.com.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
And butter, baby, come and get your supper before I make you suffer. That's when you had enough of. Yeah. Can I get hot when you hit the jackpot? Surely I can if you the man. I get loose and produce large amounts of juice. Can you get used to that, or do you need a boost of energy to enter me and get it on? You're getting warm, I can feel you getting closer. Now, baby, down this mimosa. You better believe it's time to give a toast to the woman.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. Shout out to MC Light and Escape. This was the vibe. And they were all fashionable and beautiful in this video. And Light was talking cash mess. I've still told you, although, did she do the Cadillac one or did she do the On the Porch concert series? I can't remember. She did one of them. And I think she dropped some music. So shout out to MC Light. I feel like she often gets overlooked in the female MC conversation about back in the day. And Light was distinctive. Light did her thing. So, we got to big up her and give her props. Really quickly, I know Drake is not the most popular individual right now, but he kind of is again. I don't know. Depends on who you ask, right? But he and Kai Cenat, what did I tell you guys about everybody going to the streamers with everything, right? I told y'all. He and Kai Cenat are collaborating on a music video for Drake and Party Next Door, Somebody Loves Me, right? Nice little bop, nice little cool thing. And Kai's going to be directing the video. And Drake is allowing 20 fans to submit ideas for the video, which will be incorporated into the final product, right? But today, he posted, and they're going to be announcing those individuals June 11th, live on Kai's stream, naturally. Well, but today he posted on his Instagram a girl that had a submission. I think I'm trying to find her name because I really need you to go and look at it's Romeo's Show. You can go to Drake's Instagram and look at it. That's Champagne Poppy. But I really need you to check out her video suggestion and how she delivered it. Because hands down, this has got to be one of the winners. He's got to take that in. I love it. I thought it was so funny and clever. So I think you guys should go check it out and laugh too. All right, so that's it on that. Just, trying to keep you up to date on the Drake news. Now listen, DDG and Halle Bailey, they were like the internet's niece and nephew or big cousin, depending upon where you fall in this. He is also a key streamer, and they have broken up. We know there's been a lot of accusations. There was a restraining order issued against DDG, right? And he, in turn, has tried to get a restraining order issued for Halle because he said he was concerned about her mental condition and he didn't want her to take his son out of the country. And so there's been an intense spotlight on their custody battle back and forth as they are young. So a lot of it is playing out in social media, though they are trying. Very dramatics. And DDG compared himself to Michael Jackson. He said, "Now I know how Michael Jackson felt being famous." He posted this yesterday on X. Stuff is crazy. So he didn't directly address the dispute, but what are you talking about that has you feeling like you're Michael Jackson, right? Come on, man, calm down, right? He alleged that Halle posed emotional and psychological risk. He sent in text messages which were leaked to the public, basically to make her look bad. People were getting Lala Anthony or is it Lala Vasquez now? I believe she's using Vasquez again. Her pre-marriage name, because I don't think she's, I'm not sure. Anyway, with this influencer named Lala that Halle was asking about and DDG apparently was texting with it, she accused DDG of using the court to retaliate, exaggerating her mental health issues despite her therapy. Hey, just like we said with Kiki, just like we say with a number of people, I really, really wish you guys could handle this undercover in court. We know Tiana Taylor tried and she alleged that Iman wanted to let it out. You guys got to get control of your emotions on both sides. And remember that your kids are going to read all of this one day. And not just your kids' friends, the parents of your kids' friends, et cetera, et cetera. Way too involved in your personal business. So that's just that. Listen, coming up, as promised, we have interviews with the cast of BMF. BMF Season 4 starts Friday night on Starz. And, it dips into where they started venturing off into the music business. It addresses some things that happen in Mexico. It's a lot going on. So, Vinchi, who plays Southwest T, Terry Flannery, and Myles Truitt, who plays B. Mickey, we talked to them. as well as Russell Hornsby, who plays Charles Flannery, and Michole Brianna White, who plays Lucille. And we also talked to Russell. He directs an episode this season. And when I tell you that episode is spicy, it's a little spicy. So we get the details on all of that. So make sure you are locked in and checking for those. All right. Other than that, it's BET Awards weekend out here. So, we'll get into some of the details of what is going on with that when we see you Monday. 6 p.m. like always, ready to do the thing. Stay tuned for those interviews and have an amazing rest of your weekend.
You're riding with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hi, I'm LA City Councilman Curran Price, inviting you to join us on Saturday, June the 14th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. as we cut the ribbon on the brand new Enel Woods Park at 8703 South McKinley Avenue. Thanks to a generous donation from Heal the Bay, the park features smart irrigation, stormwater capture systems, and space for local wildlife to thrive. And we've built a walking trail, picnic areas, native landscaping, and quiet spaces for families to gather, relax, and connect. This is part of a much larger effort to expand green spaces across South LA with 3 new parks in the works, a first-of-its-kind community center coming soon, and plans to connect it all through the South LA Greenway. So mark your calendar for Saturday, June 14th, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., and come celebrate a greener, stronger South LA at Enel Woods Park. I'm also pleased to sponsor the Climate Justice plus Black Health Symposium, moderated by Tavis Smiley, live on C-SPAN, Wednesday, June the 18th, from 4 to 7 p.m. at the Nate Holden Performing Arts Center. Just a reminder to sign up right away at the KBLA1580.com website to join me, Mayor Karen Bass, Congresswoman Sidney Kamlager Dove, Tennessee State Representative Justin Pearson, Dr. Cornel West, former Congressman Jesse Jackson Jr., the Sierra Club's Ben Jealous, and other black influencers in the climate and health fields, as we continue to amplify the connection between climate and poor health outcomes for our people. Thank you for listening. I'm Councilman Curran Price.
The State of the People Power Tour is not a moment, it's a movement. 11 cities, one mission: to organize with care, build with strategy, and remind ourselves that we have never needed saving. This Friday and Saturday, the State of the People Power Tour arrives in LA for its final stop. Join us this Friday, June 6th in Los Angeles, and on Saturday, June 7th in Pasadena. To register, go to stateoftheppl.com and join us as we build a new nation where every voice matters.
Now back to more entertainment news with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
We haven't seen B. Mickey in a minute, and he's been going through some life things. Can you talk to me a little bit about what life is like for B. Mickey?
Yeah, we're picking up from where B. Mickey, left off. From that farewell, what was it? The farewell party for Meech when he said he didn't want to kick it with you, talk with you, skate with me, none of that, right? And now throughout that season that he was gone and absent, he built a family, he built a new foundation for himself, a new life, and now he feels like there's a door open for me now. Meech is back in town, everybody's together. This is my moment to show that I can get back in this. And what? For revenge? Redemption? I do have a daughter, that comes into play, and, her health and what have you, so is it for her? So that's what I'm looking forward to within this season, just seeing how the audience navigates, trying to figure out what is B. Mickey's main objective at hand. It might take a couple episodes for people to get it, figure it out. But it's a puzzle throughout this season for B. Mickey, just his storyline. So looking forward to how people piece it together.
So Da Vinci, for you, we kind of, in season 4, we've always seen the brothers go back and forth, but we're starting to see more and more of a division. So what is Terry's mindset this season, and how does he feel about B. Mickey coming back in the mix as well?
His mindset this season is like, all right, I'm doing my own thing. I'm leading my side of the company. There's no more co-partnering or whatever. Now I got to just make sure that I can fulfill my mission, which is to make enough money and get the hell out of the drug game. And everyone that I'm seeing that's in my path, these are all potential enemies. And then seeing Myles come back, or B. Mickey come back, I should say, I'm just like, yo, I probably can't fully trust him, but you know, he could be a pawn in my game. So I'm gonna play the game with him and outsmart him. But who knows? Because B. Mickey might just outsmart his ass.
So there's some new mix to the business. Marquisha's taking a bigger role. How is that going to impact T's outlook and his relationships with B. Mickey, with Meech, and the business?
I think it makes Marquisha taking a bigger role makes T even more paranoid, you know? Because now it's like, okay, you're getting into this business, so now I know I can't really trust you for real. So then it's kind of a scary thing, because it's like, you know, at any given moment, you could get a better opportunity, or a police officer could try to bribe you with something, give you time off, or whatever, if you tell them something, or if you do something, or you reveal something that you shouldn't. So it's like when people start getting in this business that's really close to you, it almost makes your antennas rise even more, because you see what happened with B. Mickey in the past. You see what happened with other people that they work with. So it's not good for him at all. I think his blood pressure is really high if you check Terry's blood pressure this season.
So Myles, with B. Mickey back and he has a family, what are his thoughts about these people that were his family that he may potentially come back in the mix with? Does he still view them the same, or does he view them sort of as a means to an end as well?
I don't know. I think he always knew who Terry and Meech was. I just think he never knew he would direct that type of energy to him. I don't think he ever would have thought that. And once he figured out that it can be directed towards anybody, and that being literal, if you're not blood, that just plays an effect on how B. Mickey, you know, controls his, you know, decisions and everything throughout this next season. But definitely, he already knew who they were. I just think it was kind of surprising that he would direct, you know, they would act that way towards him.
So, in wrapping up, last question. By the end of the season, what is one word we can use to describe these two and their relationship, because they've had their ups and downs along the way as well?
One word.
A phrase, a sentence.
Honestly, I would say mine would be like, That's what it is. We look, it's like,
Mine be like,
I think that's what would describe it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think one word really can describe it. I just feel like, you know, there's, you know, of course, a lack of trust there. But also, I don't know, is it redemption, revenge? You know, I don't know. On my end. Suspicion? I don't know.
Curious.
Game. It's like a game.
Yeah, a puzzle, something, yeah.
It's all strategy. Okay. Yeah. Last question for real. So we also see the music business is in the mix for this season. How is that going to impact the business for both Terry and B. Mickey on both their ends?
I don't know if it really impacts B. Mickey's really storyline. A lot of that is a little bit separated because Terry, him being the businessman, he keeps those, you know, keep those two separated. But I mean, I don't know if you want.
I think the music impacts T a lot, obviously, because if that goes and we're cleaning the money, we're laundering the money through the music business. So then we'll be good, but then B. Mickey would be out of a job drug dealer. So he'll know if Pepsi decides to stop selling soft beverages and drinks that he ain't gonna have a job no more. Pepsi's trying to go into furniture. So yes, I think it's definitely it'll change the whole show if they become super successful in the music business because they won't sell drugs anymore.
We've seen 4 seasons of this relationship go through ups and downs, trust issues, their sons moving into the drug game. When we reach season 4, are Charles and Lucille still thinking about family ultimately, or are they at the point where they know it's our time to kind of chart our own paths individually? And I'll start with you, Michole.
Yeah, I think it's definitely the latter, that we're charting our own paths individually. And I know for me, everybody is just everybody's separating. So it's like, well, what do you have left to do? You need to take care of yourself, because nobody is going to take care of you, and nobody takes care of you better than you can do it yourself. So it's definitely that time.
Russell?
Yes, I mean, it just hit me. This is the season is the scattering of the four winds, if you will, and so I think that they're all, as Michole said, they're all sort of charting their own path and trying to discover, who they are. I think prior up to the previous seasons, it was all about the family and its nucleus. And as kids grow up, Nicole's leaving, everything like that, and also Charles and Lucille being divorced, what's holding them? So now everybody has to figure out what's best for them, and they have to, go out there and search and find it for themselves.
So we kind of see a shift. Last season, we saw Charles a little bit up as far as his career, and Lucille was still finding her footing. This season, we see her taking some steps to advance her life and career goals, and Charles is kind of taking a back seat. Do you think that they look, even though they're divorced, kind of look at where each other is at and sort of pace themselves with the other?
I don't think you could help but do that. I mean, I think that's human nature. You're going to look to the left, to the right, you know what I mean? And sort of see how you can keep pace, And I think that's also, at least for Charles, like part of his deficiency, you know what I mean? It's like you've been looking around and not having blinders on and worrying about what you are doing, And so I've been saying that often. I don't think Charles really knows who he is, which is why you have to look around and to see what others are doing, to see how you can keep pace, keep step, or even find inspiration or examples of what to do,
And I think that Lucille is moving at a different pace and is wanting to move faster, and Charles is in a different place. So which makes her sometimes feel a little stuck, because she can't kind of get out of this thing to kind of have her own life because of how closely they're bonded, and she just wants him to get that thing together.
So, although divorced,
get that thing together.
Man. We have reached the point in their relationship, as you mentioned, they are totally empty nesters. We're going to see baby girl, move on with her life and so forth. Do you think at any point they look at Meech and Terry and blame them for some of the issues that they have had within each other, now that there's a little bit of distance in between the starts of it?
I don't. I think from Charles' standpoint, he would blame himself before he would blame his children. And I think that's part of the ills, the issues that he's having, the trauma he's dealing with, is that he didn't do his job, and I think he blames himself for that. He blames himself for where the boys are. He blames himself for the house not being together. I think he blames a lot of himself for Charles and Lucille not being, with each other, and what he did to contribute to that. So you have to look in the mirror. And I think that that's sort of why things get to where they get to, is because he did finally look in the mirror, and you ask yourself, what do I have and what have I done?
So, Russell, I saw that you were directing an episode this season. What is that experience like? I'm not sure if this is your first, but this is the first that I've noticed for this.
It's actually my second officially. I did 307 last year.
Okay.
And so this year was 402. It's really an opportunity to continue to grow as an artist, quite honestly. And I think that, at my age and experience, I think that you want to sort of step outside of yourself. When you're a younger actor, you're very selfish, and it's about what am I doing? What am I bringing to the table? You know what I mean? You do times where you my line as you're reading the script and everything like that. And then once you grow and you mature, I want to help tell the whole story now. And I think that that's what directing has allowed me to do, is pay closer attention to the material, and actually, bring my conscientiousness, my point of view to the screen, and how I can lend that and help tell these stories.
So as we see, I mentioned that Lucille is stepping up as far as her role within the church and in her life. What is her mindset about where she is looking to the future as it relates to Meech and Terry, her oldest children, because they still are doing what they're doing? And is she still learning that balance, or does she feel like she has a handle on it at this point?
Is she still learning the balance? The
balance of, these are my children and they're doing things that I don't like, but I'm serving in this capacity and it impacts me. And we kind of, go back and forth with what is okay within that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess she is trying to balance that out, but at the same time, it's like, these are my kids. No matter what they do or what they don't do, I love my kids. So nobody can interfere with that. It's not okay necessarily what they're doing, but also I feel like sometimes they have found a way for themselves. And it's not quote unquote the right way, but they have found a way, and really they're brilliant. And they could be doing other things, but they have found a way for themselves and they are living their lives. And I think there's something about that she wants for herself too,
Got it. So in wrapping up, if you could describe one word for the feeling of Lucille and Charles this season, not the theme, not, what's going to happen, but where they feel as far as their heart for season 4, what would it be?
As far as their heart for each other, or just in the season?
In the season, whether that covers each other, their children, their place in life.
I would say broken.
Yeah.
It might be more than one word.
That's fine. Okay. A phrase, a word.
Yeah, I think it's giving herself permission to be imperfect.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. The Trump administration is pulling back $500 million in public safety grants. Congresswoman Latifah Simon, a black lawmaker from California, says cutting these funds, especially as summer begins, could undo progress in reducing violent crime.
Community organizations spend every day, hour after hour, working on the ground in our communities to stop gun violence.
A class action lawsuit has been filed to get the funding restored. Antoine Massey, one of the 10 black inmates who escaped from a New Orleans jail, is claiming innocence on Instagram with a caption, quote, "I'm innocent," end quote. He and Derek Groves remain on the run after escaping May 16th. And during the Country Music Association Fest, the National Museum of African American Music is spotlighting black contributions to country music. The Ben Country event in Nashville, Tennessee runs tomorrow.